You might be feeling overwhelmed right now, but I want to share something that really helped me.
Imagine you're celebrating your honeymoon in a fancy restaurant. Your husband steps away for 5 minutes, and in that tiny gap, a stranger walks up, slides you a key, and whispers, "Leave now if you want to live." What would you do? At our first real night out as newlyweds, my husband excused himself for just 5 minutes. In those 5 minutes, a stranger slipped me a key, leaned in, and whispered, "Walk out now if you value your life. Don't go home with him again." I laughed at first. 10 hours later, I was hiding in a motel bathroom, realizing she had just saved me from disappearing forever. Hello, dear listeners. Make yourself comfortable, turn up the volume, and stay with me until the end, because what happened over the next 24 hours changed everything I thought I knew about love, trust, and safety. But before all of that, the evening had been perfect. Almost ridiculously perfect. You know those movie scenes where the camera glides over crystal glasses, soft music plays, and the couple can't stop smiling at each other? That was us. My name is Mia Turner. I'm 34, a nurse, and until very recently, I honestly believed I was one of the lucky ones. Across from me, in the most expensive rooftop restaurant in the city, sat my brand new husband, Daniel Reed. Tall, charming, always in control with that calm, confident smile women in hospital hallways whispered about. We had been married for exactly 12 days. Just under 2 weeks of waking up next to him, of him making me coffee, of him calling me Mrs. Reed with a teasing grin that warmed me all the way through. "Mia, you're smiling at me like I just rescued you from a burning building," he chuckled, lifting his wine glass. "Maybe you did," I said, half joking, half not, because in a way he had. Before Daniel, my life had been steady but small. I had my night shifts at the hospital, my tiny rented apartment above a bakery, my elderly cat named Pumpkin, and a savings account I rarely touched. I had lost both my parents years ago in a car accident. The only thing they'd left me was a small, paid-off house in a quiet neighborhood. It wasn't fancy, but it was mine. My anchor, my safe place. When Daniel appeared, it felt like fate had finally decided to be kind. He was a paramedic attached to our ER. He knew every overworked doctor by name, cracked jokes with the nurses, and somehow always managed to look clean and composed at the end of 12-hour shifts. He flirted, yes, but never in that sleazy way. He remembered details, that I liked my coffee black with 1 sugar, that I was terrified of elevators but used them anyway, that I always wore the same old watch of my father's on my wrist. Our relationship moved fast but never felt rushed. Dinner, late-night conversations in the hospital cafeteria, long walks home after shifts. He listened when I talked about my parents, about the house I inherited, about my fear of being alone forever. Then one rainy evening, he held my hand and said, "You'll never be alone again, Mia. I promise." 6 months later, we were signing marriage papers at City Hall, laughing because my hair had frizzed from the rain and his tie was crooked. I thought I'd found my forever. So now, sitting in that glittering restaurant with a view of the city lights, my heart was full. We toasted to the future, to our little house, as he called it, and to the big plans he kept hinting about, talk of remodeling, maybe renting out the house for passive income, maybe investing in something bigger, better. I almost felt guilty for having so much. Love, a home, savings. He reached for my hand across the table. "You trust me, right?" He asked casually, his thumb lightly brushing my ring. "Of course," I replied without hesitation, because why wouldn't I? A few seconds later, his phone vibrated on the table. He frowned at the screen, his jaw tightening for a split second. "Work," he said with a sigh. "Dispatch, they're short-staffed tonight. I need 5 minutes to sort this out or they'll drag me back in." He stood, leaned down, and kissed my forehead. "Don't miss me too much. Order dessert, okay? That chocolate thing you like. I watched him walk toward the glass doors leading to the terrace, phone pressed to his ear. He moved with that quick, confident stride I knew so well. I smiled to myself, picked up my glass, and looked around. On my right, a young couple took selfies. On my left, closer than I liked, sat a middle-aged woman in a pale blue cardigan alone, her plate barely touched. She had the tired posture of someone used to waiting. At first, I didn't pay her any mind. But then I felt it. Her gaze. You know that strange prickle on the back of your neck when someone's staring? I looked up and met her eyes. There was nothing hostile in them, just recognition. And something else, horror. I offered her a polite half-smile. She didn't smile back. Instead, she very deliberately reached into her worn handbag, stood up, and came over to my table. "Excuse me," she said quietly, her voice unsteady. "You're Mia, right?" A chill went down my spine. "Yes." Her fingers trembled as she placed something small, cold, and metallic on the white tablecloth and slid it toward me with a slight push. It was a key. A regular silver key with a tiny, deep scratch in the shape of a crooked 7 near the top. "Take this," she whispered. "And listen to me, you need to leave this restaurant, right now. Don't go home with him tonight. Don't be alone with him again." I stared at her. "This is some kind of joke, right?" Her eyes filled with tears. "I'm not joking." "I am begging you." She leaned closer. I caught the faint smell of hospital disinfectant and stale coffee on her clothes. "My name is Nora. 2 years ago, my sister married a man named Daniel Reed." The restaurant disappeared for a second. All the sounds, the clinking glasses, the faint music became muffled, like I was underwater. My husband's name is Daniel Reed," I said slowly. "I know." Her voice broke. "That key used to be my sister S. It opens the storage unit he never told her about. I found it after she drowned on a weekend trip with him." I tried to laugh, but the sound died in my throat. "That's not funny." Nora's hand closed tightly over mine, pressing the key into my skin. Her grip hurt. "I thought it was an accident, too, until I looked inside that unit, until I realized she wasn't the first. The first. There were other women before her, just like you, alone, with property, savings." I shook my head. "No, Daniel is charming, caring, protective," she finished for me. "Makes you feel like he's the only one on your side." Every word hit its mark like a tiny hammer. She glanced toward the terrace doors, toward where Daniel had gone. Her breath quickened. "I followed him tonight," she said. "I heard him on the phone. He thinks I gave up, that I've accepted her death, but I have been watching. And when I saw you walk in with him wearing that ring," she swallowed hard. "Mia, I am watching him do to you what he did to my sister. He proposed quickly, didn't he? Started talking about your parents' house right away." Images flickered in my head. Daniel running his hand along the banister of my parents' old staircase, saying, "We could refinance this, you know, use it as leverage for a bigger place." I went cold. "I don't." "Has he already brought you any papers to sign?" she pressed. "Stuff he called formalities. New insurance, joint accounts. A power of attorney, just in case." My mind snapped to last Tuesday. Me in pajamas, signing a neat stack of documents on our coffee table while a movie played in the background. "Babe, it's just easier if everything goes through me," he'd said, pointing where I needed to sign. "You work nights. I'll handle all the boring financial crap." My signature, over and over. Mia Turner. Suddenly, Nora squeezed my hand even harder. "There is a paper in that storage unit with your name on it already." "I'm almost sure of it," she said. "He moves fast once the ring is on the finger." Something inside me screamed, "This is insane." Another voice whispered, "Then why does everything fit so perfectly?" "This is crazy," I whispered. You might have the wrong guy." Nora rummaged in her bag with shaking hands and pulled out a worn envelope. From it, she slid a photo across the table. It was Daniel. Younger, clean-shaven, with a different haircut, but absolutely him. His arm was around a woman in scrubs with freckles and gentle eyes. On the back of the photo, in looping handwriting, it said, "Danny and Lee first day in our new home." "My sister," Nora said, barely above a whisper. "Lee, nurse like you." My stomach clenched so hard I felt nauseous. "I know this sounds like a nightmare," she went on, "but if you don't walk out of here now, he will finish whatever he's already started. Maybe not tonight, maybe not tomorrow, but soon." "How?" I managed. "How would he?" She shook her head sharply. "Mia, you don't have time for details. Take the key. Don't go back to the house. Go anywhere else, a motel. A friend, tomorrow. Go to the unit. If you see nothing suspicious, fine. Throw the key away. Hate me forever. But if you see what I saw," her voice broke again, "at least you'll still be alive to hate me." I stared at the key in my palm. It felt heavier by the second. Through the glass, I saw Daniel on the terrace. He wasn't on the phone anymore. He was just standing there, leaning on the railing, staring out over the city. His face was unreadable. "Mia," Nora whispered. "Please." A waiter passed nearby. Someone laughed too loudly at the bar. The world continued as if my life hadn't just ripped down the middle. I don't know what finally made my decision. Maybe it was the photo. Maybe it was the way Nora said married a man named Daniel Reed, like she was spitting poison. Maybe it was the sudden memory of those papers I'd signed without reading. I stood up so fast my chair scraped loudly against the floor. "Bathroom," I blurted, grabbing my purse and the key. "I need the bathroom." I didn't look at her again. I walked quickly but steadily, knees weak, heart pounding. Instead of turning toward the restrooms, I turned toward the elevator. Halfway there, I heard my name. "Mia!" It was Daniel. He had come back inside. I didn't turn around. I forced myself into the elevator, pressed the lobby button, and stared at the closing doors, praying they would shut before he reached me. For a second, I saw him, striding toward me, concern on his face. "Mia, hey, what's—" The doors closed. His voice cut off. My legs almost gave out. I slid down the back wall of the elevator, clutching the cold key so tightly it dug into my skin. The doors opened into the lobby. I walked straight out, ignoring the hostess's surprised greeting. Outside, the cool night air hit me like a slap. I started walking without any idea where I was going. My phone buzzed, Daniel calling again. I turned it off. At the corner, I flagged down a cab with a frantic wave. "Anywhere with a cheap motel," I told the driver. "Cash only."
If you've made it this far, you're one of the few people who truly listens deeply. I'd love to know which idea so far has made you stop and think the most. Leave a thought below, and I'll feature one in the next episode.
Gave me a quick look in the rearview mirror. "You okay, miss?" "No," I said truthfully. "But I will be, just drive, please." The motel was exactly what you'd picture. Flickering neon sign, stained carpet, peeling paint. The kind of place they show in crime shows when someone is on the run. I paid cash, didn't give my real name, and locked myself in the room. The first thing I did was turn my phone back on and put it on airplane mode. I sat on the edge of the bed, Nora's key in one hand, her photo in the other. My entire body was shaking. What if this was all some bizarre revenge plot? What if Nora was lying? What if grief had twisted her perception? And yet, why did I suddenly remember that Daniel had insisted we change the alarm system at my parents' house to a better company he knew? Why did I remember him joking? "You'll thank me when some weirdo doesn't break in and steal your inheritance, Mrs. Reed." I didn't sleep. I just stared at the ceiling, waiting for morning, feeling like the floor beneath my life had become a trapdoor. At 8 a.m., without having closed my eyes once, I made my choice. If what Nora said was true, I needed to know. If it was false, I needed to know that too. Either way, there was no going back to the way things were. The address in Nora's shaking handwriting was on a small note tucked in the envelope. "Storage Unit 47, Silver Oaks Facility." Funny, I thought bitterly. How normal everything sounds when you're walking into the center of your own nightmare. The facility was on the edge of town, a row of identical metal doors, each with a number, each holding a private life behind it. I told the manager I was meeting my husband. She barely looked up from her computer. "People go in and out all day," she said. "As long as you have the key." Unit 47 was halfway down the row. My heart hammered so hard I felt it in my teeth. The key slid in smoothly. Click. Inside, it smelled like dust, cardboard, and something faintly chemical. In the dim light from the open door, I saw 3 plastic storage bins, a metal cabinet, and a battered suitcase. Nothing dramatic. No chalk outlines, no blood. I almost laughed with relief. Then I lifted the lid of the first bin. On top was a stack of binders, each with a woman's first name written on a label. Lee, Corrine, Sandra. Nora, I realized, was not one of them. And between Lee and Corrine was a fresh, neat label. Mia. My vision blurred for a second. My knees buckled, but I stayed upright. Hands shaking, I opened the binder labeled Lee. Inside were photocopies of documents, marriage certificate, life insurance policy with a large payout, mortgage transfer documents, all neatly organized with little sticky notes in Daniel's handwriting. Done. Waiting on signature. Filed. There were also photos, Lee at a barbecue, Lee in her scrubs, Lee laughing on a beach. On the last page, in red pen, one word: completed. I slammed the binder shut, my breath turning shallow. I didn't open the next binder, I opened mine. Mia! There it was, my marriage certificate, photocopies of my parents' house deed. A transfer form I swear I had never seen before, but at the bottom there was my signature. I stared at it. It was like looking at my own ghost. The form stated, in cold legal language, that I had agreed to transfer rights to the property for estate management purposes to my husband. I flipped the page. Attached behind it was a life insurance policy, on my life. Payout, more than I had ever imagined I was worth. Beneficiary, Daniel Reed. My entire body went numb. On the last page next to status, Daniel had written one word in pencil: pending. And then a date, 3 weeks from now. My hands started to tremble so violently the binder rattled. This wasn't grief talking. This wasn't a delusion. This was a system, a process, a checklist, of which I was just the next item. A shadow fell over the doorway. Mia! The sound of my name and his voice almost stopped my heart. I turned slowly. Daniel filled the doorway of the storage unit, blocking out the morning light. For a heartbeat, neither of us moved. His eyes flicked from me to the open binder, to the stacks of labeled folders, to the key still hanging from the lock like a confession. "Should have known you'd be the curious type," he said softly. "Nora always said nurses can't leave things alone." He stepped inside, closing the rolling door behind him with a rattling crash that made me jump. The unit dimmed to a gray half-light, only a thin stripe of daylight along the bottom of the door. "Daniel, what is this?" My voice didn't sound like mine. It came out thin and hoarse. He didn't answer. Instead, he crouched, flipped the binder labeled Mia shut, and stacked it neatly atop the others, like he was just finishing paperwork at the end of a shift. "You shouldn't have come here," he murmured. "You were supposed to be at home, sleeping off a big romantic night. That's how it usually goes." "Usually," I repeated, my throat tightening. "Like with Lee." For the slightest moment, something flickered in his eyes, not guilt, annoyance. "You've been talking to her sister." He exhaled slowly, like this was inconvenient, not horrifying. "You killed her," I whispered. "You married her, you took her apartment, and then you killed her." He tilted his head. "Killed is a strong word, Mia. Life is." Unpredictable. Accidents happen. Tides, currents, cliffs, slippery bathtubs, gas leaks. He gave a tiny shrug. "The world is full of tragedies that look perfectly natural on paper." Every hair on my body stood on end. "And I'm next." "That was the idea, yes," he said almost regretfully. You were going to make it very easy. No close family, an asset that can be liquidated, a trusting temperament, textbook. He took a slow step toward me. The unit suddenly felt much smaller. But then you ran, he went on, which means this just got messy, and messy is dangerous. Behind me against the metal wall stood the battered suitcase I'd noticed when I came in. My hand brushed it, fingers closing around the cracked handle. "What's in here?" I asked, forcing my voice to stay steady. "Memories," he said. "You won't like them." "Like your wedding photos with Lee?" I tightened my grip on the handle. His jaw flexed. "Drop the suitcase, Mia." Instead, I yanked it toward me and swung with every ounce of strength I had. It connected with his knee. He let out a sharp curse and stumbled sideways, his shoulder hitting the stacked bins. The top bin tipped. Folders slid, pages fanned out across the concrete floor like a pale paper avalanche, copies of policies, deeds, marriage certificates, each page a gravestone for some woman who'd trusted him. He recovered quickly, faster than I expected. His hand shot out, fingers catching my wrist. "Enough," he snapped, yanking me closer. "You're not going anywhere." But something hard dug into my side as he pulled me forward. Nora's key was in my pocket, but the car keys from our apartment, his set, the one he'd left on the hall table, were still on the ring in my purse, slung over my shoulder. His grip on my wrist tightened. "I really liked you, Mia," he said through gritted teeth. "You made good coffee. You asked about my day. If you'd just done what you were supposed to, die quietly." I choked. The words came with a jolt of fury that burned away my fear for half a second. I twisted, throwing my full weight backward, using his grip against him. He lost balance for a moment, boot sliding on the scattered plastic sleeves underfoot. I tore my hand free and did the only thing my adrenaline-soaked brain could think of. I ran. Not for the door, his body blocked that. I ran straight at the bins, shoulder down, plowing into them. The stack toppled, plastic crashing to the floor in a chaotic cascade, creating a low, slippery wall of documents and containers between us. As he swore and stumbled in the mess, I dove for the thin slit of light under the rolling door. My fingers found the inner latch. I yanked it with both hands. The door jumped, then rolled upward with a grinding roar, flooding the unit with daylight. "Mia!" he bellowed. I dropped to my knees and scrambled under the half-raised door before it had even cleared my back, scraping my shoulder on the metal. Concrete burned my palms as I scrambled to my feet. The outdoor corridor between rows of units was empty. Cold air slapped my face. A storage facility camera blinked lazily from the corner of the building. At the far end of the row, a maintenance worker in a fluorescent vest froze, keys in hand, staring at me. "Help!" I screamed, running toward him. "Call 911. He's trying to kill me." Behind me, the door slammed all the way up. Daniel's footsteps thundered onto the concrete. The worker's eyes darted between us, panic written all over his face. He fumbled for his phone. "Sir, you need to step back," he stammered as Daniel approached, trying to sound official and failing. Daniel's mask slipped back into place with frightening speed. "Officer," he lied smoothly, flashing his paramedic ID like a badge. "My wife is having a psychotic break. I just need to get her back to the hospital." "I'm not your wife," I gasped. "He's lying. Check the unit. There are binders in there, files." The maintenance worker looked torn. Then, blessedly, a siren wailed faintly in the distance, a real one this time, growing closer. He raised both hands. "I'm not getting in the middle of this," he muttered, backing away. "The cops can sort it out." Fine by me. I bolted past him, toward the front office and the main gate. My lungs burned. My heart pounded so hard I thought it would explode. By some miracle, my phone was still in my pocket. I hit the emergency call button without stopping. 911, what is your emergency?" "This is Mia Turner," I gasped. I'm at Silver Oak Storage on Pine Lane. I found evidence of multiple murders in a unit rented by Daniel Reed, a paramedic. He's chasing me right now. Behind me, Daniel shouted my name again, closer now. I could hear his footsteps gaining. "Stay on the line, ma'am," the operator said. "Officers are en route. Can you get somewhere with people around?" "The front office," I panted. "There are cameras, the staff's here." "Good, go there and stay visible. Do not let him get you alone." The last sentence made my blood run colder than the November air. I crashed through the front office door, nearly colliding with the startled clerk behind the counter. "Call the police," I gasped, slamming my hand on the desk. "That man, Daniel Reed, Unit 47, he's dangerous. There are files in his unit, please." She stared at me, eyes wide, then looked past me out the glass. Daniel had stopped halfway.
If you've made it this far, you're one of the few people who truly listens deeply. I'd love to know which idea so far has made you stop and think the most. Leave a thought below, and I'll feature one in the next episode.
Across the lot, just out of view of the front cameras, hands on his hips, chest heaving. He saw my phone pressed to my ear. For the first time, genuine alarm flashed across his face. Then he turned and walked quickly back between the rows of units, disappearing from sight. "He's leaving," I told the operator. "Unit 47, Silver Oak Storage, please tell them to secure it, don't let him touch anything." "Yes, ma'am, officers are 2 minutes out, stay inside." The police came, one patrol car, then another. They separated me from the clerk, sat me down in a plastic chair, and asked the same question 3 different ways. "How do you know what's in that unit?" "Because I saw it," I said. "Binders with women's names, insurance policies, property deeds. A binder with my name labeled pending. And a photo of him with his previous wife, Lee Jones." "You broke into the unit?" one officer asked. "I had the key," I said. "Her sister gave it to me." That made them pause. Her sister. Nora Jones, she thinks her sister didn't drown by accident. She told me Daniel's pattern. I didn't believe her until I saw the files. They looked at each other, something shifting in their expressions. "Ma'am, were you aware that we have an open file on Lee Jones' death?" the older officer asked carefully. "There were inconsistencies, nothing we could prove at the time." I shook my head, tears burning my eyes. "I had no idea. I just met her sister last night. She begged me not to go home with him." They didn't dismiss me. They didn't tell me I was hysterical. They didn't call Daniel to come calm me down. Instead, they put on gloves and went to Unit 47 with the storage manager. I watched through the office window as they rolled the door up the rest of the way. One of the officers stopped at the threshold, just staring at the sea of scattered documents. Then more cars came. A detective in a rumpled coat, an evidence tech with cases and cameras. They taped off the unit. They photographed everything, the binders, the suitcase, the labels, the neat completed on Lee's file and the cold pending on mine. They collected fingerprints. They bagged folders. They flipped carefully through the binder marked Mia, while I sat in that plastic chair and tried not to throw up. "Ms. Turner," the detective said when he finally came back inside, "you need to come with us to the station. We're going to take a full statement and you're going to call this Nora for us." My hands shook as I dialed. When Nora answered and heard the detective's voice, she started to cry so hard she couldn't speak. They didn't find Daniel that day. By the time an officer checked our apartment, his uniforms were gone, his toiletries drawer empty. The closet where he kept his backpack and boots was stripped bare. He'd vanished like a patient who'd ripped out his IV and slipped past the nurse's station. But this time, he hadn't cleaned up everything. He'd left Unit 47 full of evidence. He'd left my signed documents tucked into the binder. He'd left a pattern any halfway awake detective could see. Over the next week, the police called women, families, insurance companies. They found Lee's policy. They found a similar one on another woman who de-overdosed. They found a third on a woman who'd fallen asleep at the wheel on a straight, dry highway. Daniel's name was on all of them. They opened old case files and put them side by side. Same man, same story, same polite, grieving widower. The detectives asked me about every date, every conversation, every time Daniel had mentioned my parents' house or taking care of the paperwork for us. They traced the life insurance application he'd submitted in my name. He'd forged some of my information, but he'd needed my signature. He'd gotten it on one of those, "Just sign here, babe. It's for the utilities and joint account evenings on the couch." The company flagged the policy the moment the police called. They put it on hold. 2 days later, a bank investigator confirmed that Daniel had attempted to access my parents' property records through a broker, using the very same forms he'd used on Lee. Piece by piece, the picture came into focus. One morning, Nora called me, voice trembling. "They came to my house," she said. "The detectives, they said they're reclassifying Lee's case. They're calling it a homicide now." She broke down sobbing. "I told them," she cried. "I told them he killed her. They didn't believe me, but they believe you." Guilt has its own gravity. It pulls you toward impossible timelines, toward what-if scenarios that eat you alive. It hurt to hear the bitterness in her voice, but she wasn't wrong. Sometimes it takes a living victim for people to care about the dead. "We're both being believed now," I said softly, "because of what you did." It took 3 weeks for them to catch Daniel. He was picked up 2 states away, in a small town near the border, using a fake name to apply for a job at a private clinic. The clinic ran background checks. The warrant in the system lit up like a flare. When the detective called to tell me, I was sitting at my kitchen table in my parents' house, surrounded by cardboard boxes and half-unpacked dishes. I had moved back in the day the bank formally froze every asset linked to Daniel's name. "We've got him," the detective said simply. My legs went weak. I sat down hard on a chair. "Is Nora there?" I asked. "We already called her," he replied. "She wanted to drive down for the arraignment." So did I. Standing in the back of that crowded courtroom a week later, I almost didn't recognize him. The orange jumpsuit, the shackles at his ankles, the fading bruise on his forehead from where he'd hit the unit floor. But his eyes were the same, cold, assessing. He scanned the room and found me easily. For a second, the corner of his mouth twitched upward in something like a smile. Then he saw Nora beside me, fingers clenched white around the strap of her purse. The almost smile died. The prosecutor read off the charges: fraud, attempted murder, suspicion of multiple homicides pending full investigation. The judge denied bail. Daniel didn't look surprised, but his jaw tightened. As they led him away, he glanced at me one last time, not with anger, with a strange, almost clinical curiosity, like he was trying to memorize the one patient who'd walked out of his operating room alive. It made my skin crawl. The months that followed were a blur of interviews, forms, hearings. I testified. Nora testified. So did families of the other women. Every time I walked into a courtroom, my knees wanted to buckle. But every time I thought of Lee's smiling face in that photo, of Nora's shaking hands sliding the key across the table in that restaurant, of the word pending written next to my name, I stood up straight. I answered every question. The story made local news, then regional. "Predator paramedic accused in string of accidental deaths," one headline said. Another called him the charming widow maker. People at the hospital whispered in hallways. Many of them said the same thing. "He always seemed so nice." That sentence never stopped chilling me. Daniel eventually took a plea deal on some charges while still contesting others. His lawyers hinted at appeals, at technicalities. Maybe this case will drag on for years, but he's behind bars. He will never again stand in an expensive restaurant, smiling at a woman over a glass of wine and asking, "You trust me, right?" And me, I went back to work, not right away. At first, I couldn't walk into a hospital without shaking. But healing isn't glamorous. It's slow. It's getting up, getting dressed, and going anyway. It's signing up for therapy even when you're sure you'll just sit there and stare at the wall. It's learning to sleep without checking the locks 3 times, without jolting awake at every siren outside. The house feels different now. Less like a museum to my parents' memory, more like a place that survived a storm. The walls are the same, the pictures are the same, but I've changed. I changed my locks. I changed my phone number. More importantly, I changed the way I listen to my own instincts. I read every line before I sign anything now, even the boring parts. I don't ignore the small red flags just because I'm afraid of being alone. And I no longer think, he would never do that, just because he brings me coffee or knows my favorite song. Nora comes over sometimes. We sit at my kitchen table with tea and pie, the table where Daniel once spread out utilities paperwork and guided my hand to sign. Now we spread out something else. Lists of women the detectives are still trying to locate, names in the binders who might have gotten away like I did, or who might have family needing answers. "I keep thinking," Nora said once, staring at her cup. "What if I'd gone to Lee's apartment sooner? What if I'd pushed harder with the police? Would she be alive?" Guilt has its own gravity. It pulls you toward impossible timelines, toward what-if scenarios that eat you alive. I reached across the table and squeezed her hand. "You did everything you could," I told her. "And in the end, you saved me. Your warning, your key changed everything." She shook her head. "We saved each other," she said quietly. She was right. Without her warning, without that key on the restaurant table, my name would have moved from pending to completed in Daniel's private ledger, and no one would have ever asked why. Sometimes, when I'm walking home from a late shift, sirens in the distance make my heart stutter. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night, sure I've heard his footsteps in the hallway. But then I turn on the light, touch the familiar wall of my parents' house, and remember. He is behind locked doors now, and these walls are truly mine again. People still say, "He always seemed so nice," when they talk about Daniel. I've stopped trying to change their minds. Monsters don't need sharp teeth and glowing eyes. Sometimes they wear uniforms and wedding bands and smile politely at your neighbors. If there is one thing I want you to remember from my story, it is this. If a voice inside you whispers that something is wrong, listen. If a stranger is terrified enough to beg you to run, don't laugh it off. Your life is worth more than your fear of looking foolish. Because one evening, my husband stepped away from the table for 5 minutes, and a woman I had never met before slid a key across the table and told me to leave if I wanted to live. I could have stayed. I could have trusted the ring on my finger more than the panic in her eyes. Instead, I walked out. And that one choice, the choice to get up, to run, to look, turned me from the next name in his binder into what I am today. Not his widow, not his victim. A survivor, sitting in my own kitchen in my own home, telling you this story so that if anyone ever whispers, "Please believe me and go," you will stand up too, before it's too late.
If you've listened this far, thank you for being here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments where you're listening from, First I'd love to know.